Hi, today we're going to talk about things that you should pay attention to and things you should be looking for when it comes to selecting a prosthetic device. And, obviously, the prosthetist's job is to select a prosthetic device for you, but I do feel like there is an advantage in you having a say in knowing the things that you want to look for and the things that could benefit you in your day to day life. So, when I go through looking for devices that I want, you know, I obviously try a lot of different things, and so that's helpful. But when it's coming down to selecting what I'm going to wear every day, I think it's good to go through a couple steps. And so, first thing that I always do is I write down my activities of daily living, your ADLs. And so, your ADLs are things that I do every single day. That's, getting dressed, obviously, we all do that. But then I have some things that are specific to me that I have to take care of. Like, again, I have two babies, so me having two kids means that I need to be able to get around on uneven terrain and be able to chase my toddler, at the park on grass and different things like that. I need to be able to go to the grocery store. I need to be able to stand in the kitchen and make dinner. I need to be able to get in and out of the car. Those are things that are my activities of daily living, my ADLs. And then after I've listed my ADLs, I list my goals, things that I want to do outside of my ADLs. I have, that could be structured in a way for documentation that looks like, okay, I used to snowboard and wakeboard and do all of those things, and so I still want to have a goal to do those things now. Or, back when I used to coach high school football, I want to get be able to go back to coaching high school football, and that was a goal. And so those goals I would list, and like maybe for me right now, it would be I want to maybe have a little bit more active knee so that I can be able to go for a jog or a bike ride with my family and things like that. So that would be a goal. And then I would start looking at devices that one can do those things. Obviously, I would be looking for knees that maybe have different securities, such as like I like things that have a hard lock in one way or another, whether that's timed out or manual. I want something that has a lock so that I can relax, especially like if I'm changing a diaper or doing things like that. But then, with a goal in mind of being, I want to be able to go for a jog with my family, maybe I want something that has a running mode or a free swing mode, something like, from a mechanical standpoint, there are a lot of free swing knees, obviously. A Dyneon has a free swing cycling mode that it's made for cycling, but theoretically you could probably do a little jog on that. Or even, Quattro has a sprinting mode, and all of these knees now are starting to get a little bit more of that running free mode. And so looking for a knee that maybe has that, and then moving down to a foot that, okay, I want something that is going to be comfortable standing all of the time, but also gives me a good energy return when I am doing those higher activity things. And so that really is why I choose to wear the Americas foot, because it's got carbon and fiberglass in it. So when I'm standing on it, it's not like resisting me highly and pushing me around like maybe some of my other feet do that are really high intense, dynamic feet. This one is a little bit more comfortable in those standing situations, but then when I'm walking at my top speed and everything else, it does a good job of keeping up with me. And so those are, some simple ways of checking what you want. And then ask your prosthetist, hey, I saw this, I saw Alec reviewed this foot or this knee. I would love to just give it a trial. Could I get a demo? I know that I'm going to need a replacement in 3 or 4 months. Could we start that process? Could you reach out to, your OSA rep and get a power knee demo? Or could you reach out to your Allard rep and get Americas demo? Things like that. And so then you can try them. And like most of the companies do trials now. Like for Allard USA, we do a 30-day trial on Americas. And then if you don't like it, you send it back. If you do like it, then it's your foot. And so you can do all these different trials and get a good understanding. And really it's good for the clinician as well. I always liked when a patient wanted to do a demo on something, because it was another opportunity for me to learn about that device and get the company staff in and help me fit it and do all those things. And so it was always good engagement, good learning, and it's always nice to have another thing in the tool bag. Or maybe your clinician is very experienced with, a sea leg, and so you don't really need to have Autobot come down and do a sea leg demo. Maybe he's got one in his office, even that you can wear around the office and figure out what you like and don't like about it. And so I do think there are a lot of big benefits to being able to try different things and kind of experiment, especially as you become a better user, a more experienced user. It's probably not the best thing to go in with this mindset right off the jump. I think when I was first an amputee, and most of the new amputees I meet, it's definitely nice to have somebody like your clinician that knows what they're doing and knows the things that you are going to need, especially in that little bit of time, first couple of years. But as you grow as an amputee and experience more situations throughout your day-to-day life where it's like, wow, my prosthetic kind of held me up in a way there, or I wish that it could do this way. Saying those things to your prosthetist, maybe he knows of a device that could help you do those different types of things. And so again, in the beginning, it's probably really good to lean on your clinician. It's always good to lean on your clinician. I still like ask advice on everything. Even if I try something and I like it, I still will call like my 3 friends that are very good practitioners, and I'll call them and be like, hey man, have you seen this? What are you thinking about it in general? And then it gives me a better reference to kind of put it in the category that it's meant to be in, and who it could be best for. But I think that it's always good to lean on that advice, and it's also good to experience for yourself and then kind of blend all of that together and use that to select the best device that's going to help you throughout your day-to-day life. And the reality is it's probably not just one device that does all the things you want it to do, and that's why So Everybody Can Move is so important. And just getting more education on why we do need multiple devices and how that benefits us, because I have a ton of devices, and like I've talked about in other videos, if I didn't have this snowboard leg, I would probably spend all winter crying. And so, there's a lot of pros to having a bunch of different things, but you still have to be selective in what you're getting, because it is very difficult to get all of these things, obviously. And so maybe having that structure of like, hey, these are the things I have to do every day. This is what I want to do. This is what my clinician thinks. These are the things that I've tried. And then kind of going from there really does help you narrow things down, because there are so many products out there and so many things to look at. And a lot of them are very similar. Everything is like similar in one way and very different in another way. And so discerning through all of that can be difficult. And so that is why I make videos here, and hopefully they're helpful, but also, there is a little bit of a structured way to go about it that could be beneficial to you as well. But lean on that clinician support and trust them for sure. And then as you gain that knowledge, you can build up to it, and then, get the things that you really feel like, wow, this helps me in every way, every day. And I think that's the goal that we all want to get to. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time.